What is up, my friends? Last week's episode of The Mandalorian confirmed that Ahsoka Tano is going to be making an appearance on the show. But if you're wondering why so many of us fanboys and girls are screaming at the news, here's a quick backstory at this legendary Jedi and why she is very important in The Mandalorian. If this is your first time on the channel, we do a lot of talk about collecting and Star Wars on this channel. So if you enjoy these kind of videos, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can keep up with all of the content. And be warned, major spoilers lie ahead for the Clone Wars, Rebels, and The Mandalorian. So if you have not watched any of these TV shows, please vacate the room right now. Alright, so let's dive in. Ahsoka Tano is a Jedi who fought in the Clone Wars and was the Padawan of Anakin Skywalker. Yes, that legendary slave boy who would eventually become Darth Vader had an apprentice as well. Master Yoda believed that giving Anakin a Padawan could temper his recklessness. And, well, obviously that didn't turn out the way Yoda thought.
What have I done?
Ahsoka is of a species called Togruta. This species is noted for their colorful skin, large montrals, and head tails. Now, when they're young, those head tails are kind of short, but as they get older, the head tails grow very, very long. So something also pretty cool about the species is those montrals that are on their head act as some kind of sensory ability and allows them to detect the presence of others within a 20-meter radius. Now, initially, Ahsoka fought with a single lightsaber and she held it in an untraditional method by holding it from a backhanded stance. But later she adopted a method called Jerkai, where the practitioner would fight with two lightsabers. She would use a green color crystal for most of the Clone Wars, but then at the very end switched to a blue. Later on in her life, the lightsabers had a uniquely curved look to them and they had a white color crystal. At a very young age, she was discovered by Jedi Master Plo Koon, who noted how very strong she was in the Force. She was capable of most of the Jedi tricks like telekinesis, force push, and force pull. But she was also so highly attuned that she could sense the presence of others from even a great distance. And this was shown when Anakin fell to the dark side. She could sense that across space and time. She was even able to use the Force to heal two crystals that had been bled red by the dark side, and turned them to white so that she could use them for her current lightsaber. Now, because of their differences in opinion, Anakin and Ahsoka did not always see eye to eye and were often at odds on the battle strategies during the Clone Wars. But through their trials, Anakin and Ahsoka would gain a mutual respect for each other and almost had a sibling-like relationship. Tano also made friends with many of the clones, but the one that she was closest to was Captain Rex of the 501st. The two would share a bond that would last a lifetime. Ahsoka fought alongside Anakin and the Jedi for nearly the entirety of the Clone Wars, but eventually she left the Order. Tano's friend Barriss Offee believed that the Jedi Order had become evil and corrupt and orchestrated a bombing of the Jedi Temple, which Ahsoka was blamed for. She was arrested and expelled from the Jedi Order. Anakin would not sit for this and began his own investigation of the incident. During this time, Ahsoka escaped and was hunted down by the now bounty hunter Asajj Ventress. Tano was able to convince Ventress of her innocence, but Barriss managed to get the upper hand on both of them, and Tano was rearrested by Commander Wolffe. Ahsoka was then tried for her crimes, but before she could be sentenced, Anakin enters in the trial, having captured Barriss and proving Ahsoka's innocence. Now, though this should have been a reason to celebrate, the events shook Ahsoka to her core and it made her have a distrust for the Jedi. So she left the Jedi Order. Now, none of this sat well with Anakin, and I feel this is one of the major elements that led to his fall. Later on, Ahsoka would return to ask for assistance from Anakin and Obi-Wan to help free Mandalore.
Hello, Master. It's been a while.
She did not return to the Jedi Order, but she was present during the events of Order 66. Captain Rex and the other clones were programmed to kill all Jedi as per the order. Although Ahsoka was fighting for her life, she could not bring herself to kill any of these clones that she had come to respect and love over this time. She was able to free Rex from the inhibitor chip, and with the help of Darth Maul, they were able to escape. Now, nearly 2 decades would pass, and during this era of the Galactic Empire, Ahsoka went by the secret identity of Fulcrum and helped unite the fledgling rebellion to fight against the Empire. She joined forces with Ezra Bridger and the crew of the Ghost and brought back Captain Rex from retirement. Inevitably, this path would bring her face to face against her former master, now Darth Vader. Now, the fight between them was an epic one on a temple in the planet of Malachor. Now, if you guys know Malachor, if you guys never heard the name Malachor, and this was the location of the final battle of the Mandalorian Wars. Now, during this battle, it was believed that she died, but later on, a future Ezra used a device to go back in time and pull her from the timeline just before she would have become one with the Force. The last we see of her is at the end of Rebels, where she and Sabine begin their search for Ezra, who at this point has been missing throughout the entirety of the Galactic Civil War. Now, beyond this, Ahsoka was involved with many of the events that would shape Mandalore to what it is now. Ahsoka first ventured to Mandalore to help uproot a corruption scandal in the Mandalorian government and to help educate Mandalore's youth, which included the nephew of Duchess Satine Kryze. Through this, Ahsoka later learned of a black market conspiracy, and at the center of the scheme was none other than Prime Minister Almec, who was the head of the ruling council on Mandalore. Because of Ahsoka's efforts, the Duchess was able to arrest Almec and then imprison him. Later during the war, Tano accompanied Amidala to the first ever sanctioned peace conference between the Republic and the Confederacy. The negotiations were interrupted by Junior Senator Bonteri, who was accusing Dooku of killing his mother. Tano attempted to rescue Bonteri and bring him back to Coruscant, but Bonteri had other plans. He enlisted the help of Death Watch.
The Watch?
Children of the Watch are a cult of religious zealots that broke away from Mandalorian society.
Yep, that same group. Now this is where Ahsoka would first meet the then current holder of the Darksaber, Pre Vizsla, and the future holder of the Darksaber, Bo-Katan. At this time, the Death Watch were using a village for slave labor and attempted to pillage and destroy the village. Ahsoka leapt in to save the day, beheading many of the Death Watch members and dueled Pre Vizsla. The fight wasn't really going so well for Ahsoka, so R2 had to reprogram a set of Death Watch droids to turn against their masters, which gave Tano and the group a chance to escape. And then much later in the Clone Wars, after Darth Maul murdered Pre Vizsla and Ahsoka left the Jedi Order, she fought alongside Bo-Katan in the Siege of Mandalore, where she fought to free the people from the rule of Darth Maul and the Prime Minister Almec, who was the puppet leader. Now, Maul attempted to capture and turn Ahsoka to the dark side, telling her that the end of the Jedi Order was near, but Ahsoka wouldn't falter. She defeated Maul and was successful in freeing Mandalore and securing Bo-Katan as the new leader. Now, this was the last time that we would see Tano and Bo-Katan with each other, but this wasn't really the last time. We know that they must have had some run-in with each other because Bo-Katan knows where she is right now. We also know that Ahsoka and Sabine were on a mission to find Ezra after the fall of the second Death Star. So what does all this mean? Well, I believe when Din Djarin finally meets Ahsoka, she'll be able to help him better than anyone since she's the most familiar with Yoda at this time. Also, I think because of her special sensory abilities, she may even be able to confirm if this is a clone of Yoda, which is another fan theory. Also, since Sabine is there, we have yet another Mandalorian that removes her helmet and has a different way of thinking besides the Death Watch way. So this could be a turning point in Din's thoughts on what is the way. I also suspect that Ahsoka could be aware or knows of the presence of Luke Skywalker, who I think could totally be played by Winter Soldier Sebastian Stan. That guy looks a lot like Mark Hamill, so I think that could actually be a really good way to introduce a cameo for a younger Luke Skywalker. So being that Luke Skywalker knew of the last presence of Yoda, this could also mean a return to Dagobah, which I think would be kind of cool, which could also give us a clue as to where the child needs to go or his home world. I think ultimately Ahsoka and Sabine could turn Mando over to their cause and help them to reacquire the Darksaber and unite the Mandalorians. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it and this quick backstory on Ahsoka. If you like this kind of video, let me know in the comments. And also in the comments, let me know your thoughts on what you think Ahsoka's role could be in all of this. Until next time, guys, keep it marvelous, and may the Force be with you.